Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You're very welcome along. This is episode 7, series 48 of the Daily Walking Podcast that invites you to reconnect with nature for just 10 minutes whilst taking a break from your desk and a little stroll. With talking about creativity this series, we've covered some very interesting angles of creativity so far, and today I want to think about creativity and vision, or creative vision, if you like. And your thoughts on this are very welcome as well. Welcome along to Walk the Pod. So creative vision is our focus for today, episode 7, series 48, Walk the Pod. And I've been thinking about this because I've been reading a brilliant book called Thinking in Pictures by Temple Grandin, an autistic person who designed most of the cattle handling equipment in America, from what I can gather. And Temple talks about having an amazing ability to rotate things and zoom in and zoom out on things in her head, a bit like it's a CAD program, a computer-aided design program in her head, and can zoom in and zoom out on things as necessary, rotate them, manipulate them, swap bits in and out. And Nikola Tesla was apparently the same and said, there's absolutely no point building a prototype in my workshop because I can already see what's going to happen in my head. I don't need to do that. Nikola Tesla, physicist extraordinaire, not the inventor of the Tesla, just to make that very clear. But I was thinking that I don't have that ability at all. I can vaguely discern a picture in my head of what I'm trying to do, if I'm lucky, but it's quite fleeting and it's not possible to zoom in or out of it or anything like that. I am pretty much a person who thinks in words. So hence this podcast has been very helpful because it forces the words out of a tangled mess in my brain and out of my mouth in an order, one at a time, which means that I inevitably have to make some kind of sense out of what I'm thinking and feeling. But I don't have this visual capacity at all, and I'm interested to know, do you? walkthepod@gmail.com if you want to leave me an email about that. Or you can go to walkthepod.com, press the button marked leave a voice note for Walk the Pod, and use SpeakPipe to record 90 seconds of your beautiful voice on the topic. It's very, very important for creativity to be able to visualise, or at least ideate, as the Silicon Valley tech bros would probably say, ideas before we start working on them. And maybe the better our skills are, the more accurate those images are before we start. But I don't have a clear working version of that at all. I am reasonably happy just to pile in and start and sort of get something down and then work on it afterwards. But I don't really have a clear view of what I'm writing before I start, or what I'm painting before I start, always. I think it's slightly easier if you're painting than if you're writing or podcasting. But I'd love to know how you do that kind of thing. Do you have a clear view in your head of something before you try to make it? Do you get that down on paper in order to translate it from a sort of fleeting thought into a drawing? Or do you just start? Or do you have nothing like that at all and just have to sort of go in with a feeling first and just give it a go? Really interested to know how that works for you. I'm very grateful to Robin in New Zealand, who's recorded a walking report from where he is in the Southern Hemisphere.
G'day Rach, it's Robin in New Zealand, listening to you talking about Robin in New Zealand. I'm just filling in some time between work and going to Skeptics in the pub, and was interested to hear you talking about creativity and Hugh McLeod. I first saw his work around the time he did a cartoon that was adopted by Microsoft called The Blue Monster, and it said change the world or go home. And it was about the time they were in sort of a bit of turmoil and stuff, and they used it as sort of a corporate thing, but it was a great little image worth looking up. I'm on my way to Skeptics in the pub, but I filled it in by walking across the motorway near town. There's an overbridge to a marina, thinking there might be a nice sunset, but there kind of wasn't really. But I took some photos anyway that I'll chuck on the discussion group. I might chuck one on Facebook if I can too. But yeah, just loving the series. It's good to find creativity, like walking out on a marina dock that I've never walked out on before, even though I've been past it 100 times on my bike, and probably more than that actually, and seeing a different view of the world. So, to quote Hugh McLeod, change the world or go home. It's a lovely clear evening. You can probably hear the sounds of the city as I'm getting near the motorway. About 15 degrees C, clear skies, dark with the city lit up in front of me, and lots of people still out running and doing things in the evening because we've had a couple of wet days, so people are making the most of the break in the weather. See you later from New Zealand.
Robin waiting for Skeptics in the pub there, and it's lovely that Robin attends all the Skeptics in the pub's meetings, or I feel like you do, Robin. Maybe that's not quite accurate, but thank you very much for taking the time to record a walking report. And the photos that you've shared on the discussion board are actually quite stunning. You said there wasn't a particularly beautiful sunset, but it is a particularly beautiful view nevertheless. What can I see directly in front of me? Well, it's a bit grey and overcast. We seem to be having the most underwhelming summer ever in Britain, in the UK at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. It's not actually raining though, it's just grey, and the local streets are looking sort of a bit tired and in need of some sunshine today, is the best way I can put it. I'm surrounded though by green lush foliage, which is lovely, and also mindful that it is Gratitude Tuesday, and so I should be being grateful for things rather than complaining that we're not having nice enough weather. So what am I grateful for? Well, lots of things actually. Grateful to be sort of edging ever closer to having a few weeks off work. Grateful for the opportunity to speak to you, because this is a huge privilege that I have to be able to do a daily podcast and speak to people all over the world, walking wherever you are. So thank you for listening. Grateful to my lovely family, the kids, and Sam, who has been just enormously supportive over the last few months as we've sort of moved in together and created a home, and all the various roller coaster of emotions that entails. So thank you, Sam. Grateful to the cats, who are fluffy and cute as ever, and you know, I'm not the biggest sun worshipper ever. I get a bit overheated pretty quickly, so I'm going to say I'm even grateful for the fact that there's been a lot of rain recently, because it's quite nice to be indoors when it's raining outdoors and enjoy some window weather. So what are you grateful for? You can go onto the discussion board, the Walk the Pod discussion board, if you want to, and use the Gratitude Tuesday channel to record anything you're grateful for this Tuesday. Or you can record your Gratitude Tuesday on SpeakPipe via walkthepod.com, or you can drop me an email, walkthepod@gmail.com. What I've discovered about a gratitude practice is that taking every Tuesday to remember to be grateful for a few things does make me notice things that I'm grateful for the rest of the time. It's one of those things, a bit like daily walking, that is surprising in how much it can improve things. And getting a good night's sleep is astonishing, really. Very, very good for your mental and physical health. Thank you for walking with me, dear friends. It has been an absolute delight to stretch my legs with you this lunchtime. Thank you to Robin for his walking report from New Zealand. Thank you to all of you, wherever you're walking in the world. We have 3 episodes left to wrap up this series on creativity. I wonder where we'll go next. I'd love to hear about your creative visions or lack thereof. walkthepod@gmail.com or walkthepod.com to record your thoughts on that. And I'll be back tomorrow. So take care of your beautiful mind, yourselves, and each other.